Hello once again, welcome to the Security Update, which we often look at issues concerning security in the continent from west to east, and these are the stories making the headlines. US pledges to over 10 million US dollars to anyone who gets information about Al-Shabaab's top leaders. Somalia government urges public to be vigilant against Al-Shabaab attacks. UK withdraws troops from Mali, false political instability. Plus, a state of emergency declared in Darfur after tribal conflict leaves at least 24 dead. Welcome to the program. The United States of America said it will offer 10 million US dollars to anyone who gets information about the top Al-Shabaab leaders, including Daabjeerin, known as Abu Ubaidah. Last month, the US sanctioned over a dozen men suspected of being Al-Shabaab financial facilitators and arms traffickers.
The United States of America has announced that it was upping its rewards for information about prominent Al-Shabaab leaders in Somalia to $10 million each. The United States will pay up to $10 million for information leading to the identification of Al-Shabaab Amir Ahmed Diriye and second-in-command Mahad Karate and Jahid Mustafa, a U.S. citizen who had various roles in the group, including the military instructor, bomb maker, and head of media. The FBI believes Mustafa to be the highest-ranking Al-Shabaab fighter with U.S. citizenship. U.S. Ambassador to Somalia Larry Andre, speaking in Nairobi Monday, said the new $10 million reward, doubled from the previous offer, will complement the Somali government's effort to defeat the Al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorist group. U.S. officials said arresting the Al-Shabaab leaders would disrupt the group's operation and safeguard the region's peace and prosperity. Last month, the U.S. sanctioned over a dozen men suspected of being Al-Shabaab financial facilitators and arms traffickers.
The federal government of Somalia has urged the public to be watchful of further Al-Shabaab attacks in major towns and public places as the war between the government and Al-Shabaab has been intensified in recent weeks. The federal government of Somalia has issued a statement about the current security situation in the country, claiming that Al-Shabaab has suffered heavy losses during the ongoing war against the group, and they recaptured strategic villages from the group. But the government is frightened that Al-Shabaab could pose further threats against civilians in retaliation due to the heavy losses, while targeting major towns, public places, hotels, and restaurants. However, the government has urged the public to be vigilant against these predicted Al-Shabaab attacks and reduce non-essential movements as well as report suspicious activities. The government also asked hotel, restaurant, and business owners to exercise extra caution. The statement further said that the government will proceed with military operations against Al-Shabaab until it meets its objective and eradicate the group from the country. Somalia Army says they have recaptured El Para village, a strategic location from Al-Shabaab. The army did not give details about the casualties on both sides. Al-Shabaab has yet to respond to these claims by the government. Somali National Armed Forces and pro-government militias claimed to have liberated El Para village in the Middle Shabelle from Al-Shabaab, a claim Al-Shabaab has neither accepted nor denied. Ali Yusuf Muallim, one of the military officers leading the army, said that the village was a significant and strategic location for Al-Shabaab. The army added that the village was the main route connects Al-Shabaab fighters in Hiran, Middle Shabelle, and the Lower Shabelle regions. In recent weeks, there has been a military operation against Al-Shabaab carried out by the government forces and pro-government militias to eradicate the fighters from the country. The war is mainly underway in Hirshabelle and Galmudug states. A week ago, the army liberated Masajid Ali Gadud village in the Middle Shabelle from Al-Shabaab, which was a key location to the fighters. At least 17 Al-Shabaab fighters were killed in a U.S. airstrike. The U.S. Africa Command said in a press release that no civilians were hurt or killed in the strike. Last month, an airstrike in Somalia killed 2 members of Al-Shabaab, according to U.S. Africa Command.
The U.S. government confirmed carrying out another airstrike targeted Al-Shabaab fighters at the request of the Somali government, when Somali National Army forces were engaged with the Al-Shabaab fighters. U.S. Africa Command said in a statement at least 17 al-Shabaab fighters were killed in the attack, which occurred approximately 285 kilometers northeast of Mogadishu. U.S. Africa Command said in a press release that no civilians were hurt or killed in the strike. The strike is the latest U.S. military efforts against al-Shabaab in Somalia, where the U.S. has provided ongoing support to the government since President Joe Biden approved the Pentagon request to redeploy U.S. troops to the area in an attempt to counter the terrorist group in May. Last month, an airstrike in Somalia killed 2 members of al-Shabaab, according to the U.S. Africa Command.
Following similar withdrawals this year by other Western nations, the British government has announced it will withdraw its 300 troops from a United Nations peacekeeping force in Mali. The European Union said recent military takeovers in Mali had undermined international efforts to help bring peace and stability in the West African country. But we will be back after the short break.
Making documentaries is one of the most creative craft and challenging endeavors you can be involved in. It is an effective strategy to inform, persuade, educate, defend the perspective, and shed light on various issues, policies, and activities. At CBA TV, documentary production is our forte. We capture every TikTok detail of events in highest resolution to tell the story you care about, from politics to human hunger, research-based content, educative and informative. We also help you project your story in a dynamic perspective that attracts the world views of the target audience, as there is no better or more powerful way to place the organization's values and achievements than to make an excellent documentary film. No doubt, our strength lies in these ventures, and we pride in many award-winning documentaries which have been earning accolades across Africa and beyond. Let's tell your story.
300 troops from a United Nations peacekeeping force in Mali. The European Union said recent military takeovers in Mali had undermined international efforts to help bring peace and stability in the West African country.
The British government has announced that it will withdraw its 300 troops from the United Nations Multi-Dimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali, MINUSMA, following similar withdrawals by other Western nations this year. The collaboration between Mali's military junta and private contractors belonging to Russia's Wagner Group has forced France and its military allies to withdraw thousands of troops from the West African country. The Western withdrawals from Mali this year have caused panic among diplomats that this could increase violence, destabilize neighbors, and embolden heavily armed insurgents. British Armed Forces Minister James Heappey told the House of Commons that a recent coup in Mali had undermined international effort to bring peace to the country, which has seen increasing violence in recent years from groups linked to various terror groups. The minister said Britain's commitment to West Africa and United Nations work in the region would continue. He added that the UK would be meeting representatives from Europe and West Africa in Accra, Ghana, to coordinate their renewed response in the region. Britain sent troops to Mali late in 2020 to provide reconnaissance support to the peacekeeping mission of about 15,000 personnel. The United Nations Multi-Dimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali, MINUSMA, was established in 2013 by the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2100 to stabilize the country after the Tuareg Rebellion of 2012. It was officially deployed in July and has become the United Nations' most dangerous peacekeeping mission, with 209 peacekeepers killed out of a force of about 15,200. Kamel Sadiq, CBA TV.
Sudanese Central Darfur State has declared a state of emergency for 1 month after more than 24 people were killed in a tribal conflict. The conflict broke out last week between the Arab tribes of Miseria and Aulad Rashid in villages near Salinge, the capital of Central Darfur in western Sudan.
The fighting, which has left at least 24 people dead according to the SUNA agency, continues despite the state of emergency. Houses have been burnt and the situation is still out of control despite the dispatch of government troops. Since the coup by Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan in October 2021, tribal conflicts have exploded due to the security vacuum created by the coup, according to experts. They have killed more than 800 people this year and displaced more than 265,000, according to the United Nations.
Somalia's Hirshabelle State President Ali Goodlawe told the warring clans to de-escalate tension and stop fighting without preconditions. He said the fighting took place in the region was misfortune and tragedy, as the regional forces conducted successful operations against Al-Shabaab in the region.
The president of Hirshabelle State of Somalia, Ali Goodlawe, has issued a statement about tribal fighting that occurred in the Hirshabelle. He asked the warring sides for an unconditional ceasefire. The president described the clan clash that erupted in the region as a tragedy and encouraged the clans to stop fighting as the regional forces carrying out military operation targeted Al-Shabaab, who have hideouts in the Hirshabelle. However, President Goodlawe sent condolences to the families and friends who lost their loved ones due to the clan clash and wish a quick recovery to those wounded in the fight. The region has experienced similar clan clashes in the past years that caused the death of many people. The federal government of Somalia and regional administration pledged on several occasions to find a lasting solution to this recurrent tribal fighting, but the problem still remains unsolved. Hanan Abdurrahman, CBA.
Security forces in Afgoye district of Lower Shabelle region confirmed that they have seized a tuk-tuk carrying explosives on Saturday. The police said they arrested 2 suspects in connection with the matter.
In a press release, the Somali police spokesperson Sadiq Ali confirmed that the Somali forces in Afgoye district of the Lower Shabelle region seized a tuk-tuk with a red color carrying 2 different types of explosives, such as MB5 motorcycle alarm system remote and an EFB, which are mostly used by Al-Shabaab. He stated that these explosives were intended to harm innocent civilians. However, the device was safely removed and disabled without any harm to the public. Sadiq Ali reported that the 2 suspects and the Rishka are in the hands of the Somali forces and will be brought to justice soon. On Saturday,
and with that story of the security forces in Afgoye district of Lower Shabelle region confirming that they have seized a tuk-tuk carrying explosives on Saturday, which the police said they arrested 2 suspects in connection with the matter, will wrap up our program for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. This is me, Hamse Daabjeerin.